Chapter 11, The Plan. "You're late, son," called Dad from the living room as Elfie walked in the front door of the bungalow. "Oh, I was, just at chess club," replied Elfie. It wasn't the smartest lie, that means the lie wasn't very good, as he barely knew how to play draughts. Draughts, you can go and Google and which one is it. It's like a board game, let alone chess. But he didn't want his father to worry. Then, entering the living room, Elfie saw that she was back. Winnie. So Winnie's back at her house, fussing over Dad's blanket. "Good news, young Alfred," she announced. "What's that?" said the boy. He was hoping Winnie was going to say she was moving abroad. That means Alfie was hoping Winnie will say that she's going away. "I've got you an appointment with the dentist," she said proudly. Elfie shuddered. That means trembled. That means he is scared. "Good news, isn't it, son?" said Dad. "I spoke to Miss Ruth on the phone this morning," said Winnie. "She told me she remembered meeting you at your school yesterday. Anyways, she said she was all booked up with patients, but as your teeth are so bad, she could squeeze you in tomorrow at 2. Tomorrow was a Wednesday, and Elfie was of course meant to be at school, in a double maths lesson to be precise. The boy hated maths, but double maths, even triple maths, quadruple maths, or infinity maths would be preferable to going to have his teeth poked, prodded, or even pulled out. That means Elfie would prefer going for double math or infinity math rather than going to the dentist, especially by that woman. That means especially by Miss Ruth. Elfie loathed, that means hated everything about maths, every single little bit of it, the times table, equations, algebra. But those instruments of torture, that means those instruments the dentists use, were far less painful than those instruments of torture. Those math torture stuff were far less painful than any dentist. So math to Elfie is, even though he hates it so much, it's not as horrible as going to the dentist. "Thank you so much, Winnie," lied Elfie. "How will you get there?" asked Dad. "Don't worry, I can easily get the bus there myself from school tomorrow afternoon." The town's bus service had a long-standing reputation for being unreliable. So the town's bus service is known to be very lousy, cannot be trusted, unreliable. Of course, Elfie had no intention, no plan of going anywhere near the dentist, and with the bus service being what it was, he would have a long list of possible excuses as to why he didn't make his appointment. So excuse number 1, I waited and waited, but the bus never turned up. An oldie, that means an old excuse, but a good one, but a goodie. I got on a wrong bus, one which was actually being used by a motorcycle display team to jump over. Or excuse number 3, the fattest man in the world stepped onto the bus and it toppled over to its side. Or the bus was delayed for hours and it stopped at the zoo and a waddle of penguins tried to get on, but none of them had the right change and the driver became quite irate, that means angry. Or a gang of bank robbers hijacked, that means took over the bus and diverted it to Mexico. Or the driver went the wrong way and the bus got stuck under a low bridge. A group of scientists then had to miniaturize, that means make it smaller, can you see? Make the bus smaller so that it could get on its way. And of course, this took time as they had to invent the miniaturization machine first. That means they have to invent the machine to make the bus smaller. Or the next door's dog ate the bus, but this works better for homework, right? Or the bus was in fact a transformer, a robot in disguise. So the journey to the dentist was delayed. That means the journey to the dentist was late as it fought with other transformers for control of the universe. Also, there were some roadworks. Or the bus got flat tires, so we needed the world's strongest man to lift up the bus so the wheel can be changed. As none of the passengers knew who the world's strongest man was, we had to organize our own world's strongest man competition at the side of the road, and the series of challenges to determine the winner took several days. So all these excuses. Or the bus was sucked into a space-time vortex. You can go and Google image what vortex is. And I was propelled billions of years into the future to when aliens rule the earth. This one only to be used as a last resort. That means this excuse should only be used when every other excuse has failed. Okay. However, Winnie eyed the boy with suspicion. So Winnie didn't trust Elfie. She had dealt with all sorts of difficult children in her many years as a social worker. The town was full of kids like Elfie who would lie and cheat their way out of having their nits or their earwax or their verrucas or their teeth seen too. Quick as a flash, she replied, No, Alfred, you don't get to know bus. No, asked Elfie. No, I will take you there myself on my moped. Moped, you can Google image, it's like a motorcycle. Thank you so much, Winnie, said Dad. Oh, part of the service, Mr. Griffith. The social worker expounded, that means explained in detail on her plan. She would collect Elfie from school on her moped at 1:30 p.m. The journey was only 15 minutes, so there should be absolutely no chance he would be late. In fact, most likely he would be early. When they arrived at the dentist, Winnie would take him upstairs herself. That way, there would be no opportunity, that means chance, for the boy to take an unscheduled detour. Detour, that means a roundabout or U-turn to avoid something, to the local sweet shop. Next, as Miss Root poked and prodded Elfie's teeth, Winnie would wait and book the boy a follow-up appointment. So this is, then after that, finally, she would drop him off back at school. He wouldn't even have to miss all of double math. It was so well thought through. How could it fail? So this is Winnie's plan. Elfie watched at the window as the social worker, looking like a giant tropical fish. So this is Winnie. This is the tropical fish. So this is what Elfie pictured Winnie to look like, tropical fish, looking like a giant tropical fish chopped off down the road on her little red moped. The machine made a rather stuttering tuck 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 sound as she motored away. Winnie was quite a menace. Menace, that means a dangerous thing on the road. She swiveled around parked cars and leaped over a speed bump before bringing the moped up into a wheelie as she disappeared out of view. So, my pup, said Dad as father and son sat in the living room by candlelight later that night. The electricity company had cut them off years ago, so they only have a candlelight. Are you ready for tonight's adventure? Yes, Dad, he replied dutifully. Dutifully, that means like obediently to his duty of listening to his dad. In truth, the boy wasn't. Elfie had bigger things on his mind than going on some imaginary voyage. Voyage, that means like a long journey by sea, okay? So close your eyes and believe, implored Dad. Elfie sighed and reluctantly half closed his eyes. While the other boys at school were watching movies in 3D or playing the latest computer games, he was forced to sit in the dark with his father. Let's believe we are in an old castle, sitting around a huge, round wooden table. We are wearing heavy suits of armor. There are long swords by our sides. We are knights, and there are another 10 knights seated around us. It is the time of King Arthur, and we are 2 of the knights of the round table. Now you take over, son. Elfie's mind had wandered. That means Elfie's not concentrating on his dad. There was so much buzzing around his brain right now. The terrifying going-ons in the town that Gaps had uncovered. That means all the things that Gaps had found out about how under the pillow. There were disgusting things left under the pillow. And then what else? The arrival of the busybody social worker Winnie, and the dental appointment with the deeply creepy Miss Root. So all these are going on in Alfie's mind. So although Alfie had heard what his father had said, he hadn't listened. Okay, well, we are knights, right? So, I don't know. Dad opened his eyes and saw that Alfie's were open too. What's the matter, son? Nothing, Dad. Sorry. I just have a lot of schoolwork on at the moment. Got some big test next term. The candlelight flickered in the dark. But there was enough light to see that Dad was upset. He reached out for his son's hand. Pop, you would tell me if there was something wrong, wouldn't you? Of course, said Alfie as he put his hand away. His mind was racing. There was no way he was going to go anywhere near that dental surgery. Alfie needed a counter plan, that means a plan to solve another plan, a plan to solve Winnie's plan of bringing him to the dental clinic. And fast, he needed a plan fast.